So welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, and this is your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today we're talking about automation and innovation in the hemp and cannabis industry. We are here live at the World Trade Center. I'm here with Arnar and Denny. They're with Greenvault Systems. I'm here with Jason of 420 Wholesale Pack, and then there's Andy of Poseidon Asset Management.
Yeah, that's interesting because in a normal industry, you think of outsourcing to save money, but in this industry, it's not really the same. So it's a strategy for sure to stay on top. So Arnar or Denny, there's some factors that should be considered when automating. So I found that companies typically use automation to address a number of opportunities, including increasing throughput, productivity, ensuring flexibility, eliminating variation while improving quality, agility, safety, and ergonomics. So feasibility is a necessary precondition for automating any given work activity. A second factor to consider is the cost of developing and deploying automation. You mentioned that before. So what other factors should a business consider when trying to innovate?
Well, I'll just touch on something that Jason just said, and that's in this industry now, we have all these states coming on. You know, we're in many states, our equipment is, and we see a lot of customers who want to automate. They want automatic jarring lines, or they want automatic bagging lines. And we have to walk them through that process a little bit, because these lines, while they may seem flexible, they're not necessarily flexible in terms of changes. So, and they can be very expensive. So, for example, you go out and find this jar that you like, you buy 1 million of them, and the regulations change, and all of a sudden now you're retooling your line to fit new packaging. Right. So that first initial step into the automation part, especially with packaging, with net weight packaging, you got to be really sure that you're ready to do this. And that's where we kind of come in to help some of these guys walk through this, because a lot of these people are not coming from a process background. They may have a nice a jar or a bag, and they can see the automation in their head, but to put all those things together and understand what might change just because the state decides tomorrow you can't package in these jars anymore. It has to have this type of lid, and well, that just doesn't work in my line. So those are some pitfalls that you'll have to go through, you know, early on in this industry, to not corner yourself into something that you've spent a lot of money on, and 6 months or a year later you can't use it, or you need to modify it, which can be expensive, especially on site. So those are some considerations. Also, as things become more automated, typically, if you look at the food industry as well, there's a lot of innovation in products, but the packaging, the presentation, kind of stays in line with, what's popular at the time, unless somebody's going to jump out and do something, brave. But it can reduce the number of, the number of products that are available to the consumer. Because if I'm going to go and spend all my money on mass producing a product, I'm going to produce a lot of that product. I might not have all these different product lines that I have today because I do it manually. So those are some considerations to take into when you're doing these kind of product development, and production line development.
Ultimately, you mentioned that it's incredibly laborious to make pre-roll. So what automated options should be evaluated to try and reduce the cost of operations?
Every company has to define its production line, from raw material to what the market demands. And then once that is analyzed, a production line is developed. And with the capacities that the marketing people are projecting. I don't think it's unique to the cannabis business. It's a standard procedure for any product being brought to market by a manufacturer.
Right, you're able to twist the tops automatically, then working backwards, it fills it with high precise accuracy. There's a separate grinder as with every machine, but essentially it's turnkey. You have one person that can run 2 machines at a time, 2,000 an hour per machine. I'd say that's probably going to automate and reduce costs simultaneously.
Yeah, we think it's between 6 and 8 people per machine. That's to generate that amount of 12,000 cones a day, typically you need 6 to 8 people working hard. Our machine needs one person.
Yes, correct.
One
Yeah.
person. Yeah.
Well, I know a team of 18 people here in Washington, the largest producer processor that makes joints here in Washington. They have 18 people on their line making pre-rolls, so it's ridiculous. It's incredibly expensive.
Well, send them a link. Send them a link to our video. We had a company we have people coming out to Israel. We're having three or four a week now coming out. We're flying all the way to Israel to see the machine operating, and we're getting orders.
Mm-hmm.
One of the Canadian companies came over, said, well, how long? We said, look, it'll take you, to 6 to 8 people. It'll take you 10 months, 8 to 10 months to pay off the machine, the full value of the machine. He says, you're wrong. Is it going to take me under 2 weeks? I said, how do you figure that? He said, we make $1.50 per cone, and within 2 weeks, pay for the machine.
With that, I really appreciate you all being here with me today. So with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is your Cannabis Business Podcast, The Talking Hedge. Like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.